YouTube. This is Lost Child 14,000. Okay, this has gone on for way long enough. I started this because I wanted people to hear my opinion on the matter at hand, that they should have released a better Spider-Man 3 and/or done something better with the series. Now the shorts I put out with the whole "this is what's wrong with Spidey 3" have no substantial views, and ergo, I'm not getting the message across. Something tells me my subscribers are just getting bored with the idea. And before someone starts to wave the banner of, "Oh, views? You must be in it for the money," I invite you to look at just how many ads are on this video. None, you say? Great. Now let's end this nightmare before I'm forced to take it down out of sheer embarrassment. Now I'm going to talk about the 10 ways this series could have been way better than it stands right now. As you'll remember from last time, at the end of the soap opera extravaganza, Peter is the hero, Mary Jane is sort of forgiving him, Harry dies a hero, Peter sort of forgives the Sandman, and Eddie was exploded. Or something. Number 1. Bring Eddie Brock back. The Goblin bombs have great explosive power, enough to damage industrial skyscrapers and all that jazz. If you remember, superhumans in this series aren't terribly damaged by these little Goblin bombs. Harry and Peter both took one to the face, and they didn't get damaged. Well, not too much. And Eddie was probably a superhuman.
It's replicating and mutating the molecular structure of its own DNA. It's actually improving on the host organism. Host organism? That's what I am to this thing?
If Eddie was enhanced by this thing, then he probably could have survived, whereas the suit was probably destroyed by the massive amount of heat from the blast, because that's its weakness. If you don't believe me, look it up. The thing is killed by fire. Number 2, bring back Venom. Yes, the main part of the symbiote was destroyed, but if you'll remember, Connors had the part of it that Peter gave him to study. This thing is a living beast. It feeds off the feelings of hatred, malice, and frustration. It wouldn't have completely starved in Connors' care, but it could have broken out, found Eddie, and revived him to once again create Venom. See, now you have a second chance with Venom. Number 3, keep the symbiote around. Connors probably did study the thing and took care of it, like any scientist would. It doesn't matter if your test subject is a bacteria or a human, you care for your test subjects, and do the best for them to survive. Well, most of them. If he had kept it alive and separated it into small groups, it could have led to... Number 4, symbiote villains. Let's face it, Connors was seen looking at the thing through a microscope, alongside other organisms. He could have screwed with it a lot more, morphing its genes, or seeing what its biochemistry handles best in, or something to that effect. If one had escaped, then they all could have escaped. That, and he could have accidentally come across a new formula for creating human super soldiers or something. So, as a subcategory of 4, number 5. The Lizard. Spider-Man 2 and 3 had been dancing around Connor's character, giving him an on-par actor to bring some color to the small-time role. And if any of you remember the comics, the cartoon, that other cartoon, or that one where Peter unleashes the power of being the total prick, Connors does ultimately become an accidental villain. Even all of the Game Boy Advance games released featured the Lizard in one part or another. In the hypothetical Spider-Man 4, they could have had Connors, a physics man if you remember, try to be a bioman, and create a serum to bring back his arm. But you know what you get when an inexperienced wacko splices lizard DNA into an untested serum. Also, number 6, the Rhino. I kinda like the whole idea of a robot rhino. Enough said. Number 7, the Black Cat. I like the 90s cartoon version of this feline felon, and using the symbiote's morphing power alongside some sick super soldier experiment would be a nice tie-in at some point, if they could actually make it work. Number 8, and perhaps the most important, Carnage. The symbiote that came to Eddie could have left behind a piece of itself in the prison or mental ward or wherever Eddie was being held. If you remember, leftover symbiote plus a psychotic maniac equals the most evil, chaotic villain in the entire Marvel universe. Carnage could have been to Marvel what Heath Ledger's Joker was to DC. The ultimate villain. Not powerful enough to be Doom, or perhaps Galactus, but definitely evil enough to cause a bloodbath. And, if you had number 8, then I strongly suggest number 9. Make Eddie Brock, and by extension Venom, some kind of anti-hero. Let him come around somehow, like maybe his near-fatal injuries gave him a better sense of morality. Or let him see that it wasn't Peter who would have done those things. It was just the suit, just like it used him to get revenge on Peter. Finally, number 10. Put it all together. The scenario of Peter versus the Lizard, and/or Peter and Venom and the Lizard versus Carnage would have been the ultimate battle of Peter's career. Adding Felicia Hardy as a super soldier, or as just a thief, would have been a way better love triangle story than Gwen and MJ, which busily went nowhere. Then Rhino, or hell, Shocker, or even Scorpion could have been a good way to keep the movies fresh. And I miss Venom.